she said about my mama. You feel sorry for who?
Chicago's O-Dog, Romeo Blackman, from the Goonie Boss Gang faction of gangster disciples, is a menace to society. On November 19, 2014, O-Dog's co-defendant in the Goonie Boss Gang RICO trial, Terrence Smith, better known to the Goonies as T, another menace to society, murdered an innocent bystander named Crystal Jackson outside of the Loomis Food Mart in the city's Englewood neighborhood, while shooting at a rival gang member with the nickname Fat Cat as O-Dog waited in the getaway car. Who is Fat Cat? Who wanted him dead? And why? The answers will surprise you. Thanks for watching the conclusion of our series on Romeo O-Dog Blackman, Menace to Society. On today's show, we reveal the testimony of a surprise witness at trial, who the Goonies thought was dead, detail the infamous murder at Powell's barbershop, where Spike Lee shot scenes for his overhyped movie, Chirac, discuss O-Dog's unbelievable gun robbery in Streator, Illinois, and reveal who murdered Robert Vaughn, an older brother to Goonie co-founders, Alvin G. Baby Vaughn, and Alex Vaughn, who was called Lil A. Lil A is a menace to society, and a certified snitch. We'll start our show with the part in his testimony, where he explains his relationship with Fat Cat.
The information that Fat Cat had been shot, was that good news to the Goonies?
Yes.
Why?
Because he was like one of their main shooters, who was coming shooting at us.
Now, you mentioned it a little bit. You said he's soon to be your brother-in-law?
Yes.
Were you? He was an opposition gang member. He's now about to be your brother-in-law?
Yes.
Was it the same back in 2014?
Can you rephrase the question?
Sure. Did you have a relationship with his sister back in 2014?
Yes, I did.
How does that work?
Do you understand the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead and answer.
How did it work? Well, basically my girl is his sister, and we basically ain't, put her in the middle of it, and make her choose sides or nothing. So, basically me and him, our gangs, we was feuding. And at one point in time, he wanted to kill me, I wanted to kill him, and that's what it was.
Okay. Do you know a Goonie member nicknamed Manman?
Yes.
We'll reintroduce Manman to our story in a few moments, but let's reflect on the insanity of gang life in Chicago for a minute before we do. Fat Cat loved his gang more than his sister, so he tried to kill the father of her children. Lil A loved his gang more than the mother of his children, so he tried to kill her brother. At the end of the day, both of them loved their freedom more than their gang, and snitched during the Goonies RICO trial. And the tragedy of Crystal Jackson's story of losing her life, while Lil A and Fat Cat fought a stupid gang war does not end here. Now, we'll let Quincent Hayes, better known as Man, describe what happened after he was arrested in possession of the gun used to kill Crystal Jackson. But before that, let me set the scene. A short time after Crystal's murder, Man was walking in the hood with O-Dog when they saw the police. O-Dog's dumbass had the murder weapon on him because the Goonies were too stupid to get rid of evidence. O-Dog handed the gun to Man and told him to run. Man gets arrested, but is released on a home monitoring device a month later. Terrence Smith is convinced that Man will snitch on him, so T decides to kill Man. The morning of February 4, 2015, T offered to walk Man to school. While on their way, Man asked T to hold his cigarette while he jumped a fence.
While you were on the ground tying your shoe, what happened next?
I was trying to figure out what took so long to pass my cigarette, so I looked over my shoulder, and T had the gun at my head.
Where? Where was T holding the gun?
T was standing right behind me.
Could you see what type of gun it was at this time?
Yes.
And what kind of gun was it?
A 1911 45.
And how did you know what kind of gun this was?
I had seen the gun before. I carried it, and I seen it myself.
And do you know how many rounds that gun held?
12.
Did you? Did you say anything to T at this time?
I looked over my shoulder and said, "What the fuck?" and smacked his arm, and that's how he shot me in my back, and not my head.
So, what happened after you smacked his arm?
He kept shooting.
And were you on the ground at this time, or were you standing up?
Yeah. He shot me in my hip, so I fell.
And what happened after you fell?
I balled up like I was dead, like a baby. and when I looked up, I didn't hear nothing, so I assumed he had ran. But T was on top of me, still trying to unjam his gun.
So, was he not able to fire at this time?
No. It had jammed on him.
And are you on your back, on your front, or on your side?
I'm on my side at this time.
And where is T?
Right. Like, right over me, leaning over me, basically, like hovering over my body.
And where is the gun?
He's trying to unjam it, so, it's pointing down.
And what did you do at this point?
I got up, and pushed him to run. And when I did that to push him until he was off of me, I guess, that helped him decock the gun, and he starts shooting again.
And were you hit?
Yeah.
How many times?
9.
And at some point during what you just described, do you know if you passed out at all?
I probably did, a few times.
Were you able to run away?
Yeah, I made it to the crossing guard.
Romeo O. Dog Blackman's reign of terror allegedly began on January 22, 2014, when he murdered fellow Goonie Boss Gang member, Jonathan, Big John Johnson. 2 months later, almost to the day, on March 21st, O. Dog murdered Big John's best friend, Alonzo Williams, who rapped under the name, King Englewood. On October 23, 2014, O. Dog killed Stanley Bobo, better known as Nookie, to the GDs from Chunky City. And if you want to learn more about those crimes, hear the truth about O. Dog's early gang life and more, please, check out our previous video on O. Dog, and subscribe to the Cartoon News Network. After the murder of Jack Barnes, a gangster disciple from CMB, by members of the Black Disciples named Quan Ward and Antonio Doss, on November 22, 2015, O. Dog and the Goonies decided to stop killing each other and innocent women long enough to kill some BDs. So, Goonie Boss Gang and Cash Money boys from CMB like King Von's cousin, DeMarco Bennett, clicked up. Did O. Dog and DeMarco kill a GD killer like King Von? Hell no. That would make too much sense. They killed another black man that they were cool with, just because that black man claimed a stupid gang called Black Disciples, while they claimed a stupid gang named Gangster Disciples. Lord, have mercy. Save us all. Anyway, the prosecution asked Alex, Lil A. Vaughn what O. Dog said happened, after he had spun the block with DeMarco a few times, looking for ops, on December 13, 2015. Of course, Lil A. is a big rat, so he told them what O. Dog said. Next, he said, they pulled up on Smiley, him, and Smiley, was having a conversation. He, Smiley, like, what you want? He, like, you know, just chilling, hitting blocks. And then Romeo say, Smiley, was rolling up a blunt, and Smiley, told him like shit, get out, smoke with me. Romeo say, he had the gun in his hand already. He say, as he got out the car, he just, started shooting him. He say he was so close. He told me, I was so close, I, was seeing like, little pics in his head, polka dots, in his head. After that, he say, he jumped back in the car, and they drove off. They drove off, and went up to Aberdeen and was. Marco, past the stop sign. He ain't stop at the sign. That would make the police, get on him. Romeo say, he, jumped out the car, and ran upstairs in the house, and talked to Nika, his baby mama. And for those wondering, Devon Bennett's cousin, DeMarco Bennett, was charged with murder, like King Von, and beat the murder case, like King Von. So, I hope he learned lessons from his cousin's life, so DeMarco's life doesn't come to a violent end, like King Von.
Let me get some leaves and get grits, man. Hurry up. I'm getting this motherfucker out here.
Going to war with the BDs was especially dangerous, considering Goonie Boss Gang territory shares its eastern border with BDs from Dog Pound, where Lil Durk's childhood home is located. But that didn't stop O. Dog and another Goonie member called Ra Ra, or Tay Boog, from murdering a well-respected BD named Devon Horace, who was called D-Money, on January 25, 2016. The crazy part about D-Money's murder is that O. Dog, along with around 20 members of Goonie Boss Gang, attended the candlelight vigil honoring D-Money. When asked why, Lil A. Attended the candlelight vigil, he said. Basically, we went to the candlelight vigil to try to cover up our name, to try to make it seem like we ain't the ones who was responsible for the murder, even though everybody was saying we was. And, when asked a really stupid question by prosecutors about why he was trying to cover up the murder, Lil A said like, we ain't want all that heat. We was blaming the person that brought him over there. That's what everybody else was saying, so we was saying, we was trying. At this point, Lil A was interrupted by an objection from the defense, and we'll move our story forward a few months in the year 2016, to March 15th. A member of the Elizabeth True Gangsters nicknamed Kaz E was a Goonie affiliate selling Alvin G. Baby Vaughn's weed on 69th and Racine when he was murdered. The Goonies had reason to believe that Tez, a BD from Push Squad, was responsible for Kaz E's death, and an overwhelming desire for revenge led to O-Dog crashing out.
Man, I'll suck your dick. Come on, man, suck me up. What the fuck you just say, nigga? I said I'll suck your dick. Come on, man. Come on.
On May 26, 2016, the Goonies got word that Tez was at Powell's barbershop in Englewood, on the 1100 block of West 63rd Street, where Spike Lee shot a scene for his movie that trivialized gang violence in Chicago, Chirac, and then Spike Lee left Englewood without making a lasting contribution to the city. The Goonies were ready to drill and slide on Tez when he least expected it, including Lil A, the rat bastard who snitched on the gang he founded. Before we reveal his testimony, let me introduce everyone to a couple of Goonies that Lil A will talk about in his story. First we have Devontae Norwood, better known as Boosie Wee, who was also a founding member of the gang. Boosie was killed 5 months after the barbershop shooting on October 13, 2016, by Keontae Breed Hill. As retaliation for O-Dog killing Stanley Nookie Bobo from Chunky City. Now, let me introduce everyone to the barbershop shooter, Trevontae Reed, who the Goonies called Tuka. And here is the story that Big Snitch, Lil A, told the jury about the shooting on May 26, 2016, at Powell's barbershop.
So, if I'm not mistaken, it's you, Bootsy, Tuka, and Romeo in the car. Is that right?
Yes.
Where is everybody sitting?
Bootsy driving. Bootsy driving. I'm in the passenger's seat. Romeo is behind Bootsy, Tuka is behind me.
All right. Where are you headed?
We headed to the barbershop.
Was there a gun in the car?
Yes, there was.
Where did you get the gun from?
Nate.
When you say Nate, did Nate give you the gun?
He didn't give it to me, he gave it to Tuka.
On the way to the barbershop, what's going on in the car?
On our way to the barbershop, Romeo is having a conversation with Tuka. He tell Tuka like, are you sure you got this? Tuka like, yeah. Like, you sure? You know, we got to get him for Cushy. Tuka like,
Can you get closer to the microphone, please?
so, Tuka like, yeah. So we driving to the barbershop. And Romeo like, you sure? 'Cause I should do it. Tuka like, no, I got it. So we still driving to the barbershop. We turn, come up May, and turn and hit the alley. Romeo told Tuka, tight, put the hood over your head, tie it up tight, so they can't see you, and tie your shoes up tight.
Did Tuka do that?
Yes.
After Tuka missed the intended target, shot a father of 5 instead of Tez from Push Squad, the shooting at Powell's barbershop received a lot of publicity in May 2016, and shit got really hot on the block for the Goonies in June. Lil A got arrested for illegal possession of a firearm by a felon, and later that month his older brother, Robert Vaughn, who was called Winnie, was murdered. For his part, O-Dog went to Streator, Illinois, which is about 100 miles south from Chicago, where a friend or distant cousin from Englewood named Gerald Goldie Bumper was moved by his parents when he was younger. Streator, Illinois, is a rural town that was not ready for what the Goonies had in store for them. On June 21, 2016, O-Dog, Keith Gullins, also known as Punchy, and Rashad Anchando, who was called Bamboo, smashed a stolen Jeep Wrangler into the South Post gun store in Streator. They stole 18 handguns, along with a rifle and a shotgun. After the heist, The crash out dummies went to a home in Streator, and they posed with the guns in a video that was posted on Facebook. The Goonies were dumb enough to brag about a murder on social media, but were smart enough to know that they were under investigation by the police, so they were understandably paranoid after the high-profile shooting at Powell's barbershop and the gun heist in Streator. O-Dog trusted the niggas that he grew up with in Chicago, but Goldie spent much of his formative years kicking it with cows on a farm. A week later, police found the dead body of Gerald Goldie Bumper in an alley in Chicago. Meanwhile, in Cook County Jail, Alex Lil A. Vaughn couldn't take the weight for the crimes he committed, so he decided to snitch on the gang he co-founded with his brother, Alvin G. Boy Vaughn, who also eventually cooperated with federal authorities. Lil A. is the worst kind of snitch, really, the scum of the earth. He participated in a murder at Powell's barbershop in May 2016. 2 months later, he decided to snitch on other niggas, and would soon wear a wire to record O-Dog's co-defendant, Jalicious Turman, better known as JoJo, to his fellow gang members in Goonie Boss, admitting to the murder of Kenneth Whitaker in front of Stagg Elementary School on July 1, 2016. The crazy part is, JoJo killed Kenneth Whitaker to retaliate for the murder of the Snitch brothers' older brother, Robert Winnie Vaughn.
I'm going to hit play. I'm going to pause it right there. What's a mo?
It's the opposition.
Do you know what stag is?
Yes, I do.
What's stag?
It is. It is a grammar school on 74th and Morgan.
So, let me ask you, we're starting at line 67, I'm going to read to line 72. So, I was like, man, I was finna slide. So, like motherfucker, I'm finna slide. A motherfucker need to leave this earth. You feel me? So, we drove everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. What does that mean to you?
Basically, my brother had got killed, so they was looking for revenge to kill anyone who we was into it with.
I'm going to play. I'm going to pause right there, line 76 and 77. I don't know, some motherfucker. Whoever came out there. What does that mean to you?
Basically, whoever they caught walking.
An innocent black man was killed because the Goonies felt butthurt about the murder of the Snitch brothers' older brother, Winnie, by rival gang members. Romeo O-Dog Blackman was a menace to society, but so were his co-defendants, Jalicious Jojo Turman and Terrence Smith, aka T. In May 2017, the feds unsealed the indictment against O-Dog, Punchy, and Bamboo for the gun store robbery in Streator, Illinois, and more arrests would follow, but our story doesn't end here.
I know 23 members are part of a faction called Goonie Boss, and according to authorities, they are responsible for as many as 11 murders.
According to an article published in the Chicago Sun-Times on May 31, 2023, a Goonie Boss Street gang leader's brother is accused of threatening a witness during his brother's trial on federal racketeering charges Tuesday. "I'll get you," Roscoe Blackman told a witness after the witness testified, and walked to a side room during a break in the trial, according to a criminal complaint filed Wednesday. Romeo O-Dog Blackman is on trial along with 2 other members of the South Side Gang, tied to an indictment that connected them to 10 slayings across 30 months, from 2014 to 2016. The witness, a former Goonie Boss Gang member who agreed to cooperate with the feds, testified in court Tuesday that Romeo Blackman had confessed to the January 2014 slaying of a person whom the brothers suspected of being a police informant. During their testimony, the witness saw Roscoe Blackman standing outside the courtroom and mouthed words to them as he peered through the courtroom door, the complaint said. Then, after U.S. District Judge John Blakey excused jurors and the witness for a break, Roscoe Blackman stood up about 3 rows deep in the gallery, leaned toward the witness and said words to the effect of, "I'll get you," as a police detective escorted the witness to another room, according to the complaint. Roscoe Blackman is accused of intimidating and threatening the witness with intent to influence, delay and prevent the testimony of the witness at his brother's trial. Roscoe Blackman's alleged witness tampering is the second alleged threat to a witness in the case. Ahead of the trial, the judge cited allegations that Romeo Blackman, as he was being held in Chicago's downtown Metropolitan Correctional Center, offered someone $25,000 to have a witness killed. The citation came during the judge's denial of a request from the defendants to attend trial without leg shackles. The Goonie Boss trial like other street gang trials, is being held amid enhanced security at Chicago's federal courthouse. And, according to another article published in the Chicago Sun-Times, on September 6, 2023, Javion Bush admitted in a plea agreement to sending a direct message on Facebook to one of the witnesses stating all rats must die. Bush tagged the Facebook accounts of the two cooperators in his post, and sent a threatening direct message to one of them. The two people had previously testified before a grand jury that was investigating the Chicago gang faction known as the Goonie Boss Gang, of which Bush was a member, prosecutors said. Bush learned the names of the two witnesses after viewing a law enforcement report that had been given to another member of his gang, who was being prosecuted by the state for murder. Javion Bush was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison for threatening a witness, while the Vaughn brothers are free, even though they were deeply involved in the bullshit of the gang that they founded, which should be a lesson to all wannabe gang bangers who want to be a menace to society.